Jogging in shorts here. We got 5:12 in the PM here, January the 13th, 2025, and it's still 45 degrees. It got up to 50 degrees Fahrenheit when we went down to Northerly Island. Here we're in Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth here. We're getting out of work on a Tuesday. We got sirens right away. As soon as I leave, we got sirens almost on cue. And here, sounds of the city. Here we'll get across. This is Water Street, Michigan. We'll head towards that setting sun, a beautiful sunset tonight. We're at Michigan Avenue. There's the Wrigley building. Here, we'll turn on the comments here. See if anybody wants to join in here. Look at the Citizen M. There's the Citizen M. Yeah, there's still talk. We'll see if it happens, if Portillo's goes in there at the bottom. There, look at this view. Look at that view to the Wrigley building as we cross here, a block south of Wacker Drive. There's a big clean air hybrid bus. Hey, Lawrence Bucci Way. Let's check out this evening sky. It might look pretty interesting if we go down this way. Actually, I want to cross the street to get that view. Yeah, let's cross the street right here. I'm gonna have to cross it again, but I want to get this gradient of the sky against the Wolf Point skyline, which is the Salesforce Tower there. Yeah, look at that. Look at that beautiful gradient of the sky, the setting sun there. Hey, look, the merchandise mart is orange and blue for the Bears. Bears play, Chicago Bears football team plays the Los Angeles Rams there on people will just like walk right into you like you don't exist. Isn't that funny? I'm sure other people have had that experience where people like lock arms and walk like 6 wide on a sidewalk and won't get out of your way. There's the Chicago Motor Club. That was the original, before AAA. It was the Chicago Motor Club, the Automobile Association, American Automobile Association. Now it's at Hampton Inn. And then the Hilton Garden here, the 17th Church of Christ Scientists. Yeah, we'll still start heading north. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm going to go up. We went up Michigan the last 2 nights. Maybe we'll go up Clark Street or something. I'm liking this beautiful sky. So there's a chance for snow tomorrow. It's going to get windy. I might work from home tomorrow. So, wintertime, I do take the luxury of working from home more. Especially the wind. The wind's the worst. I want to film the snow. I will film the snow. We're supposed to get some snow and some crazy weather starting tomorrow, Thursday, and into Friday. The temperature's going to drop. There's the green line. There's the green line round in the, this is Wabash. There's the northwest corner of the loop. And there's the green line round in the bend there. Scenes of the city here, Wabash, Chicago, Illinois. Look at that. There's your L train, Wabash. What's the best time to visit? Well, it's up to you. Use your big bad brain and you can figure it out for yourself. Look at climate, look at the climate data, see what, I don't know what your temperature, I don't know if you like Christmas, I don't know if you like hot weather, I don't know if you like fall. I personally like the fall. I'm not a tour guide. Thanks for asking your question, I appreciate it. I don't know. Visit whenever it's convenient for you. Appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to Chicago. Here's the Marina Towers. And look at this gradient of the sky. We're on Wacker Drive. There's the Trump Tower. There's the Wrigley building, the Tribune. We went by there yesterday, so we'll head towards. I want to see, they got the Whirlpool building, which is the Britannica building. It has another name that I can never remember. And then the merchandise mart are in orange and blue for the Chicago Bears. So let's go film this. And then we'll start heading north. We'll just walk through River North. Hey, the 135 Express goes on Lakeshore Drive. How you doing? No, this is Chicago. This is not New York. But hey, thanks for... See, Chicago has some iconic architecture. When you see these 2 buildings, they're called the Marina Towers. Chicagoans affectionately call them the corn cob buildings because they look like 2 corn cobs. Here's the... There's some people skateboarding here. They got State Street closed, so we'll run across the street here and see what's going on here. There we go. We got the light. But, you know, we also got, like, the Chicago Theater. See the Chicago Theater right there? When you start seeing stuff like that, you know you're not in New York City here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get across. And there it is, Chicago Theater. We're on State Street. So State Street. And here, we'll get across here. And, yeah. Of course, we got the Sears Tower. Some people call it the Willis. And John Hancock and a few other things. I don't know if I would put the Trump Tower in that category. But people ask about it all the time. Imagine that. There's the Westin. Here we're on Wacker Drive. Yeah, I want to cross the street here, so we'll cross Wacker Drive. Don't do what I do. I'm a bad role model. I'm like Charles Barkley. But, hey, well, yeah, let's check out the Riverwalk here for a second. Since we went this way. I didn't plan on going this way. State Street's closed. And I think we can still get to the Riverwalk here. Yeah, we'll head down to the Riverwalk. So you can look under the Marina Towers. That's why they call them Marina Towers. You can pull your boat right in the bottom there. And that's where sometimes the hot tub boats are there. I don't know. We got 45 degrees, Chicago, Illinois, 5:19 in the PM. It's about 10 degrees Celsius, 45 degrees Fahrenheit. This is the Chicago River, the Marina Towers. I'm walking home from work. Usually we go up Michigan Avenue. Last night, Monday night, we went to Michigan Avenue. We'll go a different way. This is Tuesday. Hey, Chicago River. Look, it looks nice with the reflection there. So hey, let's see what else is going on. Man, it's stunning. Sergeant Al Powell. Thanks. They're tuning your car into Swiss cheese. Oh, sorry to hear that. What's Nakatomi Plaza? Where you at? I don't even know where you're at. But yeah, talk to Nick Koiken. I mean, there's people, he's a real estate agent. I don't know. You can easily go online, just type in Marina Tower, Chicago, Illinois. You'll see listings for, you can rent there. You can probably rent there for $2,000 a month, a small studio or something. Or maybe a one bedroom for $2,000 a month. If you look, they're not that big. A lot of them are pie-shaped wedges. They have large balconies. It was a prestigious address, but it is dated. I've been in that building. It looks like some of the units, purposely the appliances have not been updated for 60 years because they want the vintage look, the original appliances. A lot of Mies van der Rohe buildings are like that. They'll keep the 50s, 60s decor. So we'll go with the modernist styling. But hey, here's Chicago River, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, the best on YouTube. Thanks, Gregory. Thanks for the compliment. Thanks for tuning in, everybody else. I owe it to my mod team. My mod team was helping me out over lunch. We went over to Northern Ireland because it was so warm and sunny today, and we rode a bike. When I'm riding a bike, it's hard for me to answer comments and scroll and things like that, so my moderators were helping out, so it's a team effort here. And yeah, we'll eventually head across these bridges. I'm debating if I want to go. I might go all the way, since it's a warm night. Let's go all the way to Orleans Street. We can go past Mr. Beef. It'll be closed, but you know, that's where Jeremy Allen White, the bear, the inspiration. If you want the real Italian beef, go to Elmwood Park, go to Johnny's or Al's Beef or something else. I know, yeah, Mr. Beef's fine. Mr. Beef's a great place. I'll eat a Mr. Beef Italian beef any day. There's always people, oh, it's horrible. I'm like, it's not horrible, it's good. Mr. Beef, original beef. And there's I'm a critic too. But here, RPM, Portofino, Chicago Riverwalk, 45 degrees. We got 5:22 in the PM. Hey, we got a boat. In January, we got a boat. Is this an architectural tour? I wouldn't be surprised if I saw kayaks out today, January the 13th. Hey, we still got Christmas lights. Look at the Bears. Hey, how about that Bears game defeating the Green Bay Packers on Saturday? Now they face the LA Rams we were talking about earlier. Look at the Bears colors. Hey, people, this is a rowdy boat, so let's film this boat going in front. So, hey, welcome to Chicago. We're on the Chicago Riverwalk on a balmy January the 13th, 2026. We got 45 degrees, and I think these people on this boat might interact with us because it seems like they're already partying, and they're coming down. I don't know if this is an architectural tour or if somebody rented this boat for a private charter, but hey, we got boats. The river's not frozen. A lot of times this time of the year, the river's frozen. Hey, Bears, yeah, Chicago Bears. Hey, yeah, Chicago Bears, bear down, yeah. Yeah, go Bears, yeah. How you doing? Very nice. Yeah, I like the enthusiasm. Thanks. Yeah, there you go. See, look, there's your Bears fans here, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, see, Wendella's going by. Yeah, they're getting people to cheer. This city comes alive. You know, I'm happy because, you know, I was here for when the Blackhawks, it was separated by a few years there. They won 3 Stanley Cups within a decade. And, but the Bears are much more popular, and they truly can unite the city because it's not like the White Sox and the Cubs where the city's divided on loyalty. The Bulls can unite the city too. So the Bulls and the Bears, when they're in the playoffs, this city comes alive. So same with the Chicago Blackhawks, but not everybody's into hockey. More people are into football and basketball in this city. And I love the Blackhawks. I mean, I love when the Blackhawks, I'm not discounting that, or the Chicago Sky won the championship too. And I remember going to Millennium Park, and that was on my original count. We filmed the award celebration back in 2023 for the Chicago Sky, the women WNBA team that won, I think, that year. And a lot of people didn't even know about that. Here's, including possibly me, here's, hey, we're on the Chicago Riverwalk here, Chicago, Illinois. We got January the 13th, 5:25 in the PM. Yeah, the Pack choked. They had a chance to win it. All these games, you know, turn on a dime. You know, it's just a lot of fourth quarter longs the Bears were able to deliver on. You got a Patrick Kane jersey. That's great, Dolores. Yeah, Chicago Blackhawks, yeah. Patrick Kane. Let's see, Nelios, what are you saying there? You were in Madagascar. You're in Madagascar. Nelios, hey, Happy New Year. Hey, hope you're enjoying Madagascar. Wow. The island off the continent of Africa there. That is great. It's a Greenland-style island, or Greenland-sized island. If you put Madagascar and Greenland on a non-Mercator projection, they look closer in size than they do on the Mercator projection because it makes Greenland look so big because it's close to the North Pole. But hey, the merchandise mart's looking nice. Bears fans, check it out. This city comes alive. The Bears play the LA Rams on Sunday. I think it's 5:30 Central Time Zone. Yeah, I got confused because they were moving the dates around. I guess there's a Saturday and Sunday game. There's not a Monday night game, thankfully. I think the last Monday night game was the Pittsburgh-Houston game last night. So the Houston, Texas won. The Bears will go hybrid after next game. Yeah, we'll see. You know, the LA Rams are going to be tough. All the games are going to be tough. Seattle Seahawks are going to be really tough if they can beat their opponent. And here, I think San Francisco 49ers. Hey, here's the conductor. There's the, I think it's a Brown Line train heading north over Wells Street here. Chicago, Illinois, Chicago Riverwalk. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, look at that. So this is called Chicago, Illinois, United States of America, planet Earth. This is the Chicago River. We just went under Wells Street. It's a double-decked Bascule drawbridge that allows the CTA trains to go across. This is the merchandise mart. When the merchandise was marked, this building with the orange and blue at the top. It's 2 blocks long. When this was built, this was the largest building in the world by square footage, and it's still pretty large. And Here we're heading over towards, we'll go up, we'll cross that bridge right there, which is the Franklin to Orleans Street Bridge that connects to the Loop of Chicago, or downtown Chicago. I work on Michigan Avenue. Usually you walk up Michigan Avenue, but I saw that beautiful sunset sky, and so I started heading west. Go west, young man. Yeah. Yeah, Chicago Bears colors. Yeah, so hey, at least we're getting your views of the city. Yeah, we're not showing you any sports, we're just talking about it as we show this beautiful skyscraper designs. And lighting design is a part of it. It's you know, lighting design came in the late 80s, early 90s. They realized they could light up all these historic buildings and they just really shine at night. And then with the LED projectors, they project artwork on the merchandise mart. It's a huge canvas there, and all throughout the spring, summer, and fall, and even to the winter, they project art on the mart. We've shown that. We got reruns of that. Send me a message if you want to see it. Send it. Here we'll cross the Franklin Street Bridge. Hopefully we'll get another train heading across the Wells Street Bridge here, Chicago, Illinois. 45 degrees, 5:29 in the PM. It's going to be windy tomorrow. There might be a chance of snow. My live streaming schedule might be different tomorrow because of the weather, so I'll try to keep the mods posted and everybody else, so people don't think I fell in the river. He's disappeared. Where'd he go? Hey, thanks for watching here. Yeah, so there's a really good view. Look at the Sears Tower. The Sears Tower is in orange and blue for the Chicago Bears. We saw it last night. This is a really good view of it, looking straight down Franklin Street. There's the Sears Tower. Some people call it the Willis. I call it Sears, the historical name. We're at Wacker Drive and Franklin. Here's the Chicago River. See both the merchandise mart and the Sears Tower. Got the blue and orange for the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears play the LA Rams. The city's still ecstatic because they defeated the Green Bay Packers and the last weekend. And the John Hancock has the same colors at the top. Like I said, nothing unites the city like a Bears playoff run here, so we'll see what happens. Still a chance, still a chance. Ditka, yeah. We should revive Mike Ditka's restaurant. It's closed down. There's the one in Oak Brook still open. Look at that amazing view. One of the most classic views of Chicago. I got to keep a tight hold on the gimbal. I don't want to drop it over the side here. And people are trying to go ahead, go around me with. And people are walking across this bridge. Sometimes you get to see the train crossing. I didn't time it. Here's some trap doors. Maybe we'll get the train rolling across there. Hey, they got the Bears flags. There's the Bears flags over there. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, the Bears. Yeah, gratitude, Ditka. Thanks everybody for the Bears love there. Yeah, East Chestnut. That's exactly right. That's where you know where I'm talking about. That's in the city. That's the original, as far as I'm concerned, Mike Ditka's restaurant. You could always smoke a cigar there. Maybe that's why they closed down. The city made a no smoking ordinance. I don't know. You know, Mike Ditka still. I don't think he lives in Chicago anymore, but he still has a restaurant in Oak Brook, just like Michael Jordan doesn't live in Chicago anymore, but has a restaurant on Michigan Avenue, steakhouse. So here we'll looking for a train here, but there's not a train, so we'll keep going. We'll see some trains. You know, when we walk up Orleans, we'll see some trains heading across here. So we're waiting for the. Hey, they even got the orange and blue on these trees here. So hey, we'll leave the merchandise mart. We're waiting for the light here. I guess left turns. And hey, we got the light. We'll head up Orleans. We'll start heading north. Go north. Hey, the gratitude looks cool. The jazz singer. Oh, Pippi Ardinia. Yeah, we have such a lot of good jazz and blues legends from Chicago. Thanks for knowing a real Chicago jazz legend there. Thank you so much. And yeah, merchandise mart. Oh, yeah, COVID. Yeah, the COVID hurt a lot of restaurants because, you know, I was living in Chicago when that whole happened, and yeah, downtown was a ghost town for an entire year, and it took so long. I still argue downtown has never recovered from COVID because people that lived or worked in downtown Chicago in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, you remember how busy it was. People would come in on the Metro, all the food courts were full, and people worked in the offices. And now so many people work from home. It's also compiled with all the people that worked at the Board of Trade, all the day traders and people that worked on the pits and the floors with the color-coded. They don't work downtown anymore either. You know, Rick Santelli, there are a few people, you can see them on CNBC when they go to the Merc, the futures market. It's just the people that work in the futures market. But the commodities exchange, you know, I guess there's still cattle pits and stuff, but it's not how it used to be. But here, if you just joined, we're in Chicago. We're behind the Merchandise Mart. Here's the traffic backing up on Franklin Street, heading north from the Loop, trying to get on the Kennedy Expressway in River North. And here, look at the same thing. All these people are trying to get on the Kennedy and get out of the city. And you can go down. There's the Kinsey Street Bridge. There's where the Dave Matthews Band incident happened. We talk about that. Yeah, you're right. KACD Cubby, yeah, everything's always changing. But there are more people live in the Loop than ever before. Down Loop's more of a residential neighborhood and a commercial neighborhood. There's still offices, and there's more people living downtown, which is probably what's saving it. Otherwise, it would have really declined even more. So thanks for people that are willing to live in River North, Loop, South Loop, West Loop, Streeterville, Lakeshore East, all this stuff. And so here we are at Hubbard and Orleans. We'll cross the street here and we'll continue to try to head north. We want to go that way, but I'm just crossing the street to keep moving here. Yeah, that's where we came. It's the top of the Merchandise Mart. Hey, cute dog here. So the East Bank Club's over there. Kingsbury. When was it? Last Wednesday, we checked out the construction progress on the casino. So it was daylight in the morning, so it's all dark now, so it's not as nice to see it. Yeah, The Dark Knight, I think the one with Heath Ledger, the one that came out in 2007 or 2008, the Batman The Dark Knight is probably the most famous Batman series that was filmed in Chicago. They used Lower Wacker Drive and all that stuff, and then they also used LaSalle Street, just like, you know, in The Untouchables. They a lot of those movies use Chicago as a backdrop. Transformers movie used Chicago. They blew up the downtown. They blew up the Jewelers Building. And I remember when they filmed that, because I was living here then. One of the earlier Transformers movies. I don't even know how many they made now. Yeah, thanks for explaining the Dave Matthews Band incident. Yeah, so the Dave Matthews Band incident, sometimes at lunch we walk over there during the daylight. It's a bridge, it's a drawbridge that goes over the North Branch Chicago River. And it's right near that bridge. It seems like it's stuck in the upright position all the time. Yeah, I think it was 2004, Dave Matthews Band bus driver dropped off the band and was supposed to go somewhere to dispose of the waste. He took a shortcut. Either he was behind schedule or he got away with doing it before, thought nobody would notice. As he was driving across, you know, those Basque bridges, they have grates. You can look straight down to the water through the grate when you're driving across, or sometimes on the sidewalk, and across the bridge. He probably drove really slow, and he was attempting to, he wasn't attempting, he was emptying the contents of their waste tank in their tour bus, and the dummy didn't look to see that there was a tour boat going underneath there, and he emptied the waste contents of the Dave Matthews Band on the poor people taking the architectural tour boat. It really damaged the band's reputation. It wasn't the band's fault, it was the bus driver's fault. And it damaged the city of Chicago because it became a joke. Don't take an architectural tour boat, you're going to get shit dumped on you, you know. And it did happen, and I don't know if there was a settlement or a lawsuit or whatever happened, but that's the Dave Matthews Band incident. And a bunch of jokes and memes, or you go there and the people try to put bumper stickers on there, the city rips it off. It's so funny. But hey, here we're in Chicago. That's why we're talking about that. We're We're in River North. We're heading north on Orleans Street. We're a little west towards the North Branch Chicago River. All this traffic's trying to get on the Kennedy Expressway, and I have to cross the street again, because if I don't cross, you get stuck, and there's no signal crosswalk. They really don't want people crossing because so many people try to get on the highway. This happens in New York, Manhattan too. People try to go to the Holland Tunnel. It backs up for miles, people trying to get in the Holland Tunnel or going across the Brooklyn Bridge, all the approaches. And for us in Chicago, it's the Kennedy Expressway. There's the, here, see how this police car navigates this. So here they're coming pretty fast here. So here we're gonna, I don't know if the police car's coming here. So here we'll get across the street here. I wouldn't recommend doing what I just did because that police car could accelerate. I don't think it should go this way because I don't think these cars can move. So this police car is stuck in this traffic. So here, Orleans Street, Chicago, Illinois. Grandma's Corner, how you doing there? Crazy Handsome. That dance movie, yeah. So here comes the Chicago police cruiser heading north on, how you doing? Heading north on Franklin Street. Keep driving, let him through. There you go, good. So, hey, they got nervous because I was filming them. But cop cars behind you, keep driving until they can get around you. I know it's hard, people pull to the side, they don't know what to do. The cop couldn't get around because they didn't pull up enough. And they could have pulled all the way up to there, but I think they were just trying to let the cop car around, or maybe they were afraid they were getting pulled over. Here's, I would be the same way. I see cop lights behind me, I start freaking out. Because I do drive, I just don't own a car. I drove to Texas with my dad's car. Here's, yeah, this is where you get off the Kennedy Expressway, Chicago, Illinois. Here we're Franklin Street. Here we got the light here. Ohio Street. This Ohio Street will take you right over to Streeterville, Michigan Avenue. Yeah, you want me to go to O-Block? I wish I had $1 for every time somebody sent me go O-Block. I have gone to O-Block. Check out my reruns. Go to YouTube there. We got plenty of reruns. TikTok is censoring my O-Block content. Why, please explain to me, why is it so important for you to want me to go to O-Block? You know, do you care about King Von? Do you care about Odie Perry and Parkway Gardens and the people that live in Parkway Gardens? I appreciate it. It seems to be the most often question I get, and other live streamers get it too. No matter where you're at, people ask you to go to O-Block. It's a joke. You know, I got reruns on it. Jody GTV's got reruns on it. TikTok is censoring O-Block content. Maybe that's why everybody's asking about it. But so here we'll wait for this traffic to. This is all the traffic trying to get on the Kennedy. Risky road, yeah, because it's gangsterish, yeah. Well, we deserve that. This city, you know, goes back even before Prohibition, Al Capone, and then all the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, the young lords, the Latin kings, the gangster disciples, and black gangster disciples. And there's plenty of TikTok people that dedicate. There's people that dedicate their whole TikTok pages to the territories that gangs used to do, the history, who used to run them, the crimes, and the people do Prohibition. People dedicate their whole pages. I learned stuff by watching them. Please follow other people. There are several people that their whole accounts are about Chicago gangland violence, the more modern stuff like O-Block and the still existing gangs that have been fractured since they removed the Robert Taylor, Cabrini Green, and Henry Horner and Stateway Gardens, all these huge public housing projects. So they became fractured and decentralized, and some of them moved out to the inner suburbs like Maywood and down towards Blue Island, which King Von is associated with Blue Island. I think he's buried in Blue Island, which is a south suburb of Chicago. But I've learned a lot by doing this. You see how, you know, I'm not an expert. I don't know a lot of stuff, but here's hey, there's the L train there. Look at that, scenes of the city. Welcome to Chicago. Thanks for tuning in. So hey, we got the light here. We'll cross. We'll go up Franklin Street here. So I probably should have crossed here so we could show Mr. Beef. Maybe we'll just show it from across the way, because we got reruns on it. Jeremy Allen White, the bear. I'm sure you've probably seen the show on Hulu or FX. Jay Leno supposedly slept in his car in his parking lot in the 80s before he got widely recognized, when he was a stand-up comic trying to make it. And here, we'll wait for this light to change, and then I can show you right across the street is Mr. Beef. Here, maybe we'll do it here. We can get behind this bus. There it is. There's Mr. Beef. There, if you saw, they got it all. They draw the curtains. I got reruns where we can look inside the window. It looks just like the show. They use that for filming. There's the original. There's the Mr. Beef, the original Beef, for Jeremy Allen White. They filmed the bear. They actually use that location sometimes, and it's Italian beef, and they're the original beef, and it's right next to the Green Door Tavern. So there it is. Actually, let's cross the street here, because they got the door. I don't know if somebody's still working there. I saw the door doesn't have anything on it, so we might be able to peer inside. So here, Huron and Orleans here, Chicago, Illinois, across the street. So the Green Door Tavern, we got reruns of the Green Door Tavern. Thanks again to Anthony for showing us around. We went down to the speakeasy below, which is the Drifter. The Green Door Tavern, making the world a better place since 1921. Yeah, there was a speakeasy. So this is the Green Door Tavern in Chicago. This was the storefront. In the back, it's got an old shanty. This is one of the rare wood frame buildings that was built right after the Chicago fire that still exists in this area. You see how, look at that little house. That might have been a relief shanty that they lived in to get through the winter. And see how it leans. It leans, it racks. It leans against the wall of this building. So if they ever tear this, this building would fall over, but or it would lean. And this is the Green Door Tavern in Chicago. We're at River North. We're Huron and Orleans. And there's the Green Door Tavern. If you can't come in, smile as you go by. We got reruns. We go. So to go to the Drifter, you go the back. You go down the back. There's a secret door to get in there, and you got to reserve your spot online. Go to their webpage. But the actual Drifter is down there. You see where that ladder is? That door? That's the stage area. That lower garden apartment area of this building is actually where the speakeasy was during Prohibition, because they had to have escape doors, secret entrances, passwords. Some people, they still don't know how they got in there. And here's Mr. Beef. And hey, Mr. Beef Chicago, there's Mighty Mouse. But see, there it is, Mr. Beef. There's the inside. So does that look like on the show? The bear, Jeremy Allen White here. We're in Chicago. This is the Mr. Beef. They call it the original beef on the show. Mr. Beef Chicago. And there's the sign. Established 1979, Mr. Beef. Remember, Mr. Beef loves you. The original beef. There he is. Jeremy Allen White there. And like I said, Jay Leno supposedly slept in his car overnight. And it was really, imagine how seedy this was in like 1983. It wasn't really a nice area at that time. Nor was a lot of Chicago. So here, let's get across the street here before this light changes. Yeah, we'll get across here. So hey, let's keep heading north. Hey, the top of the John Hancock is in orange and blue for the Bears. The Safe House in Milwaukee. Yeah, there's a lot of speakeasies. I might have been to the Safe House. I went to a speakeasy in Milwaukee. It was south of the downtown in that warehouse district. And yeah, it was secret hallways. It was like a nice speakeasy. They had a little stage. And that's a really nice area in Milwaukee. The warehouse district south of the market there. South side of downtown Milwaukee. You should go up there for Summerfest. It's nice. Here's Club Lago. It's not Blago, it's Lago. Chicago, Illinois. 5:47 in the PM. We got 45 degrees around Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. We'll, yeah, let's cross the street here. I don't want to wait for this light. I'm always running to get across the street. Oh, the Lake House guys. Thank you. Thanks, Neilio. So the Green Door Tavern, was used in the Chicago movie Lake House, guys. Thanks for good information there. I learned something new every day. Yeah, I don't know where the Jenny Jones show's at. Is that on NBC? I know there's still some daytime shows filmed in the NBC Tower. That's where Jerry Springer and Judge Mathis was filmed there. Jenny Jones, does anybody know? Yeah, Oprah's long gone. We know that. But here's 757 North Orleans. That's this building here. We're just south of Chicago. We'll do is check on gas prices. I'm heading home from work. Hey, there's a gym down there. Look at that. It was in the 90s. Okay, good. Galleria, there you go. Hey, thanks for everything. Yeah, we showing you scenes of the city here. See, you don't have to like Chicago, but Chicago's interesting for all the wrong reasons. O-block, crime, high prices, political corruption. We got it all. What else do you need? So here, 332. 332 is the gas price. This is the Shell at Orleans and Chicago Avenue. And there's the Chicago stop on the purple and brown lines. Happy Tuesday, Izzy, Emilios, Jeff. Hey, yeah, I caught the end of Jennifer You Should Eat. She went to the zoo today, and I saw earlier she was by the South Pond, so I went back to work, and then I tuned in right before, about a half an hour before I started live streaming, and Jen was in the zoo, and I missed, supposedly, and she told me, the ducks were getting in a fight, but all I heard was she said reptile porn, and I was like, what did I miss? And I guess she went inside the reptile house, and the lizards were getting it. Come on, the lizards were getting it on. And so, yeah, watch Jennifer You Should Eat. She went to the zoo today. People were begging her to cut out a clip. I don't know if she doesn't usually cut out clips, but you got to watch it live. But it was worth it. People were loving it. I saw Jeff had a good comment there. He was cracking me up. Yeah, the ducks were at a huge fight. Yeah, you saw it there. You got 5-story building. There you go, Tex Cow. How you doing there? Yeah. Bigger doesn't mean better. Chicago always would be like, we got the biggest this and the biggest that. No one cares. Here's the brown line. There's the brown line heading over to the Chicago Avenue stop here, Chicago, Illinois. So there's your scenes of the city. Look how nice that looks. That's the Trump Tower you see in the background, and we saw the John Hancock when we started. We're setting up Institute in Orleans, Institute for the Moody Bible Institute, which is on LaSalle Institute. We're at Orleans and Institute, this new housing. Well, relatively new. It's been here for a while. Oh, somebody's car got towed. I wonder if we're going to take it to Lower Wacker. Lower Wacker. The 7th circle of Lower Wacker. Yeah, Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, and Chicago Med. You got it. Yeah, we filmed them. We filmed all those shows on the set there when they were doing live filming. The ducks got a huge fight. Yeah. Hey, Philippines. Thanks for tuning in, Chris Bactus. Thank you. So we're in Chicago. We're kind of heading out of the central business district here. It's in Illinois, United States of America. We're at Chestnut, and there's T's Barbershop. There's Momo Factory, Nepalese food, Orleans and Chestnut. Hey, Buzz, look at this mural. I wonder if they're going to build something here. They got some fencing here. It'd be nice if they finally built something in this empty lot. See, there's some empty lots. It starts, there's some new development. That's all where Cabrini Green used to be. They tore it down by 2011. It's been gone for 15 years. And when I moved to Chicago in 1999, it was still here. It was notorious public housing development, a lot of towers, and there's still the Francis Avery Cabrini homes are still there. Some people still live in those for low scale stuff. There's the Purple Line. The Purple Line came express from Evanston. It's heading down into the loop of Chicago. There's the Purple Line train here in Chicago coming out of the building here. So what's happening? Why somebody Tuesday's gonna get worse? Yeah, good evening there. Thanks, Chris. See you host. Grandma's Corner. So, Locust in Orleans here. Now the train tracks are a little closer here. I'm not gonna shit across there, but getting all into complacency here. So, 900 block of Orleans Street, we're heading north. We can either cut over to Wells or we can go up Cleveland Street. I think I'll cut over to Cleveland Street. We'll go up to Clybourne because we've been on Wells Street too many times already this year. Hey, St. Luke's Church of God in Christ. But see where that building is? There used to be a church there. It was a Spanish, had tile roof. It was Spanish colonial kind of, had a bell tower and everything. They tore it down. They tore down the church to build that building. Here comes the train here, so let's get the train. There it is. There's the Purple Line heading north there. That's going up back up to Evanston there. There's always trains going by. Hey, Mogadishu, Somalian food here in Chicago. Authentic Somalian cuisine. You can support the local Somali community by just going to a restaurant here, 931 North Orleans here. I won't pry in the window because the last thing the poor Somali community needs is someone like me shoving a camera in their face. I don't want them to think I work for ICE. I'm not wearing a mask. I probably should because my beard's all messed up, but hey, there's the is that St. Luke's? No, that's a different church. Hey, we'll get some good views of the skyline here. Hey, there's a rat, a big giant rat just ran under that car. So, hey, welcome to the city. Yeah, that's the Union Church. Union Baptist, I think. There's a barber shop, a lot of barber shops on Franklin, or Orleans Street. Yeah, we'll try to get across here. So Oak Street, we made it to Oak Street in Orleans. You go that way, it's Oak Street where all the fashion shops are. How you doing? And hey, Masala Magic. Here's a South Asian restaurant here. So you got to go over to Franklin Street to get the real you got to go to Orleans Street to get the real cuisine. Look there, see, so there's the that's the John Hancock. So John Hancock, 875 North Michigan. It's got the Bears colors. See how it alternates. It shifts around. Here's Masala Magic. Can you see it? There it is, Masala Magic Restaurant. Here comes the train. Hey, look at that. So here's the Brown Line. Here's the Brown Line heading across the Chicago skyline. We'll get it right there with the John Hancock. Look at that. How's that for scenes of the city there? Yeah. Thanks for subscribing there. Thanks, KACD Cubby. Cacti Cubby. Hey, Cubs fan. That's great. Thanks for checking out my content here. Appreciate it. Yeah, Masala Magic. Here it is. I think the train's coming the other way. Yeah, look. See, one train goes one way, one goes the other way. It's never a dull moment here along the Baron Monroe says never go under the tracks. Never go under the tracks. I'm always walking under the tracks. I break all the rules. There, Masala Magic restaurant. Is it Pakistani? Let's see, what do we got here? Masala Magic. I'm trying to film the store and I tripped. Their sign blew down. You got to watch where you're walking. I could have did a face plant there. St. Matthew's United Methodist Church. That's yeah. Wendell in Orleans, Chicago, Illinois. Carrie, how you doing there, Carrie? Yeah, go Cubs. That's good. Thanks. You're in the right place. So yeah, usually we film Wrigley Field several times a year through different seasons. We also go to Sox Park. We go to the South Side. We go to Bridgeport, but we also probably more often go to Wrigleyville because I live on the north side. I know I'm not going to impress any true Southsiders with my Southside tourism here, but here's yeah, they repair the fire engines here. This is an old fire insurance patrol building, now maintained and run by the Chicago Fire Department. And see the breathing apparatus service, they repair the equipment trucks for the whole fleet there. And we're by St. Joseph's Church. This is the Mother Church of St. Michael's, which is these are the original Chicago Catholic North Side parishes, mainly German Catholic back to the 1850s. And they're a little different than the Irish Catholic churches. Not that they're different in the Catholic Church, different in the community. And there's the Polish cathedrals on the west side, all the Polish style cathedrals. This is St. Joseph's Catholic Church here. And they modernized the tower. This church is notable that the elevated tracks behind it, they curve around the back. They did not tear down the back of the church. They routed the L train around the church when it was built around 1900. So we'll head up to Division Street, and then we'll try to catch Clybourne. Yeah, the Polish downtown, it was over there by Milwaukee, Ashland, and Division. And then now you can take Division west to Humboldt Park, that's largely Puerto Rican community there. Wicker Park's been gentrified, it's changed. They built the highway. They were going to destroy some of those Polish cathedral churches, but they had to reroute the Kennedy Expressway around them. It goes really close to St. Stanislaus there, which we filmed that. There's a beautiful Jens Jensen community center near there. Jens Jensen was an architect, landscape architect, known for doing a lot of stuff throughout Chicago, the parks. There's the Purple Line. Let's see if we can get over the fence there. Purple Line. So, there's a clock tower about there. There's a little clock that we're going to see here. See this clock? That was the O'Brien's clock. That used to be on Wells Street, but they moved it here for some reason. I don't know. For whatever reason, somebody bought it and they stuck it in this residential park. It's for the residents. But here we're at Franklin and Division Street here, so we'll try to. Hey, there's a Serve Robotics. It's not a Coco, it's the competitor. So let's see if we can catch up with this Coco. If we can cross the street, I'll zoom in here. There's this. Yeah, we see these things all over the city. I know everybody's tired of them now. Well, people only like to see them when they get stuck or fall over. There's the Serve Robot going through Division Street. Try to cross the street here and catch up with it. Yeah, I'm going here. Oh, we got another car here, so I'm not going. There we go. We got, maybe this light will change here. Yeah, let's go here. So let's see if we can catch up with this robot. I like messing with them. Not that I, impede them. I just like studying their habits here. And it makes for, yeah, it's gonna park. Let's see if we can get around this bus shelter. So, yeah, they navigate pretty well. Yeah, it's gorgeous at this hour. So it's a little robot that delivers either groceries or beer or medical marijuana or whatever. It drives around. They got them all in the hipster gentrified areas of Chicago. See, look at it across the street there. Well, I'm trying to catch up to it. There it is. There it is. This one's called Ronald. They try to name him so people feel empathy for him. So it's trucking. It's driving towards Clybourne. We're on Division Street in Clybourne. The skyline is south of this. I'm trying to follow this little Serve Robotics. It's going pretty fast. It's hard for me to keep up with it. I'm walking at a really fast pace here. It kind of senses I'm stalking it here. let's see what happens when it gets to Clybourne. Let's see if it crosses the street. So somebody orders some food, just like DoorDash, and this is, I know this is replacing jobs. This is why I critique AI, and all, people are so worried about an immigrant taking your job. It's far more likely that AI or a robot like this is going to take your job. And it'll be the same people that got Donald Trump elected, the people that benefit from the stock market and automation and AI, everybody investing in AI. They don't care. This is whatever the robots can work indefinitely. So here, let's see. Here's Ronald. Let's see if it crosses the street here. We're at Clybourne. There it goes. So it's crossing Clybourne here. So we're at Clybourne Division, Chicago, Illinois. We got 6:03 in the PM. We're stalking this Ronald as it drives down here. It's still making a delivery. So it's going to go. This is the way I want to go. So look, we just left downtown Chicago. We're heading north and west here. Clybourne runs at an angle. There's a motorcycle gear shop here. So somebody got some motorcycle gear. And there's the red line. That's the red line, the sound of the red line subway through that grate. It's below us, the red line runs. So let me get ahead of this thing. It's starting and stopping and acting all weird. So here's the motorcycle shop here. Very nice. So here, we'll head through here. Nice bike, it's very nice. So here comes the robot's coming here. Here's the we'll watch it go around. Here, there it is. How you doing? Hey, there's a serve robot. I'm filming this thing. This thing's crossing. These things crack me up. Like people online, I'm streaming on YouTube. They love these things.
Hell yeah, dude.
This is
awesome.
This is a nice motorcycle shop, right? They have all the protection gear, right?
Yep, absolutely.
That's good. Hey, it's nice break there. Hey,
thank you, brother.
So hey, let's see what this thing does here. It's called have a good night here. It's called Ronald. Thank you, thanks, brother. Yeah, Ronald. Let's see if it go around here.
All right, Ronald. That thing's fast.
Oh yeah, we're seeing how they like react to the snow and all that stuff. Yeah. Hey, riding a bike in January. That's great. Yeah, that's good. See, he's riding a motorcycle in January in Chicago. So, hey, look, Ronald's getting away from this. Ronald's making its escape. So, where do we start and end? So, do you consider this a taking of the commons, whereas the sidewalks are meant for pedestrians and not for commercial corporations? But just like trucks use the street for commercial activity, these things contract with the city. I'm sure they must get permits and license to operate. There's Cocos and there's this ones. They're called serve robots. They're just automated delivery vehicles. Robot, like I think of them like R2D2s that deliver your food. And they got, Steve Lyon has some good videos where they try to see it going through the snow. And hey, how you doing? There's the guy on the motorcycle. So I'm tired of following this thing. It seems like it's going to go all the way up Clybourne. I want to go up this street. I want to go up Cleveland, so I'm going to cross the street once the traffic clears. I'm going to put my hat on here because now I'm getting cold all of a sudden. I was really hot, but the wind picked up, and now I've cooled down enough that let me put my across the street. See, I got my Carhartt on. My hippie hair was flying around here. There's Clybourne. Get across the street here, and there's a bike lane. See, I got bike lanes. Hey, that guy was riding a motorcycle in January. He had the protective gear. Man, bye, Ronald. How was the bar? Yeah, let's go to the bar. Yeah, I guess they're waterproof. I mean, yeah, we see them. I mean, that's when they want to make the money, when it's raining or snowing, so people don't want to go out. They just order, and I guess you get a code, and it unlocks it. It's just like a big cooler. It's a big cooler on wheels. You unlock the code, and then you can lift off the top and get your food. If you ordered food from a restaurant, mostly it's delivery for restaurants. It's like Uber Eats is what it is. Those little, I first called them Cocos because that was the first ones I saw. And now they got this competing company called Serve Robotics, and they have different names for them. And they do them other cities. People first started seeing them in Austin and LA, and then New York, and now here. I'm sure they might be coming to a neighborhood near you. And people are always like, don't people steal them? Don't people? I fully expect one day to see one floating in the lake. People do try to mess with them. Some people don't like them. They try to mess them up. You see all kinds of videos. But I'm sure they got cameras on them. If you damage them, they consider it like damaging a car. They probably could sue you, use evidence in court. So be careful. There's cameras. I'm sure there's cameras and tamper-proof. They could shut down. People try to steal the food out of it too. You got to have a code. You know, but hey, thanks. This is Chicago. We're on Cleveland Street. We're by Evergreen Terrace here. There's some housing here, and we're gonna walk up Cleveland Street, just heading to Lincoln Park. We're on the backside of Old Town here, in Chicago, Illinois. We got 6:08 in the PM Central Time Zone, and we got about 45 degrees. It feels like it's dropping a little bit. Maybe we're going down towards 40. It is going to get colder overnight. There's supposed to be wind and snow tomorrow, so if I'm not live streaming in the morning because of the wind, I'll send a message. But we got 6 live streams in already, Monday and Tuesday. 6 over hour long live streams already. So if you don't see me tomorrow morning and you miss one of my lives, just watch a rerun there. We went to Northerly Island at lunch today. I took a bike ride. We walked through. We saw ice skating yesterday. We saw a little ice skating. We saw the Zamboni today, but it was just getting out of the garage to smooth down the ice in Maggie Daly. Yeah, they've been trying them out in Austin, Chicago, those little robots, New York, LA, I guess Las Vegas, places like that, where all the horrible, evil liberals live in hipster cities that pay big bucks to have that stuff. I know. And first question, people are like, doesn't people rob it? You know, some people are like, kick it. They don't like them. They're like, they're stealing jobs. I know. But again, I'll emphasize this again. I strongly believe this. I know there's concern about Americans losing out because of migrants taking your job. There's more likelihood of a robot or AI taking your job, especially if you've got a corporate office job or went to college, than migrants. And so there are job losses already because of AI and efficiencies, but I'll make a bold prediction. AI will change our society just like the internet, TV, automobiles change our society, but there's positive things to everything. The benefits are being overpromised and oversold now to sell you stock. And not all the companies will make it. Some will make it, some won't. Not everybody's going to be profitable, and there'll be negative things that we won't like about AI. It's creepy. Well, I filmed those robots with their little eyes blinking. Somebody says it's creepy. It is creepy. As robots become more human-like, people will start to feel like they're competing with the robots. And there's a movie that came out in 2001 called AI. It's by Spielberg. He did a great job, and it explores that, where this family adopts a kid. She had a lost child, and she adopts a robotic child that has human-like, very human-like, and it creeps her out. And she ends up abandoning it in the woods just like a dog. And it has to find its way on its own and she feels torn as a mother because she connects with it and has motherly emotions and connections, but it freaks her out, and she's so, she's conflicted, and that's the human condition. And I deal with it, you deal with it. It's positive, negatives, everything. But it's exploring, and people, they went to a future Las Vegas type city where people went for sexual pleasure and to party, and there were robots that served as sexual companions, and people got jealous. People divorced over it, and we haven't thought this stuff through. There's already enough problem with online porn and enough things that people, romance novels. I don't know what else is there. Hey, we're on Cleveland Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Hey, look at that. Look how that goes over the entry there. Electric infrastructure. You're right. I agree, Scott. Another negative effect of AI is it's going to compete for energy. They're already building mini nuclear power plants to power these data centers. They're very energy intensive. And it might cause the price of electricity to go up as people compete for demand, and we haven't thought this out. And AI will be used for warfare, just like nuclear energy. It was used for power. Chicago's ringed by nuclear power plants, which helps out with our electricity grid. But there's negatives to nuclear, which we all know. There's the little scooters there. Here, Cleveland Street. We're at, is this Blackhawk? I think it's Blackhawk Street and Cleveland Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Mohawk Street is one over, so we're near Mohawk. There's actually a Mohawk and Blackhawk intersection, but this is Cleveland Street. There's the train. See, the train wraps around. The train's going east-west there. There's the brown line heading up to Kimball. Yeah, Illinois has the most nuclear power stations in the states. Hey, thanks for the good info there, John. I didn't know that. I should have known that. It makes sense. Yeah, don't poke fun at white-collar people with braids. They could do. You're right. You're right. See, you know, we need some white-collar white Americans picking strawberries. You know, that seems to be what the current administration wants. They want us manufacturing iPhones on an assembly line. That's what they consider the American dream now, I guess. Here's well, we got it so good. Think of the people that went through the Great Depression, the generation that went through World War I and II. They sacrificed so much. In the Civil War, the indigenous people, all they suffered, and you know, the African Americans, all much they suffered in this messed up country, what we did to people for generations. And this has an inertia, you know, and now the Latino people south of the border in Central America are paying the biggest price right now, and America's forever sins of our past come back to haunt us, and we can never rise above these you know, what's this idea of whiteness, and why should America be white and Christian? You know, just because the founding fathers were, they didn't trust, they wanted separation of church and state too. Thank God they put that in the Constitution, or really it's not. I think it's in the Bill of Rights, separates church and state. No, I think it's in the Constitution. What am I saying? Here's, I'm talking. Hey, there's the Bells of St. Michael's. Thanks to Bells of St. Michael's for saving me here. I'm talking on my ass here. Here's the dance club, all about dance. So they got a lot of dance studios. There's a boxing club right over. There's a boxing club right over here at Cleveland and North Avenue. So it's really hard crossing here. Let's see if we these two cars. But here, all about dance. It's this nice dance studio right here at what? Are you let me go? Okay, I'm confused because there's not a stop sign, so thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You don't have to stop, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So here, see, like these cars, they got me confused because they saw a camera and they stopped where there's not a stop sign. And I think it's because some of the crosswalks, you're supposed to stop, but like those cars would have just kept going. And it all confused me because I'm trying to talk and narrate this, and it's very dangerous trying to cross North Avenue right there, and the cars know it, so thankfully they helped me out there. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping me out here. They're probably like, look at this idiot live streaming. We're gonna hit him. Look at this. Abolish ICE. No human is illegal. Let me film this here. So hey, welcome. There we go. So somebody put this up as a First Amendment free speech on their fence here. Hey, the band's playing here. Show me, show me, show me. Yeah. So hey, Cleveland Street, there's St. Michael's. Hey, they're partying down there. Yeah, they're being courteous. Yeah, they're being courteous. You're right. They're being courteous. I'm not complaining. I'm very thankful for all the cars that stopped. They were being courteous. I was just confused because when you live stream, you're confused. Once they stopped, I was hesitant to cross because there was traffic coming the other way, but they were waiting for me to cross, so I got out into the middle, and then I decided to just run across. And that's why I don't often go that way. It's hard to cross the street there. And there is a crosswalk, but it's confusing because it doesn't say stop for pedestrians. And I never trust it even when it does, because not everybody sees the sign. But thanks to the cars for stopping. I appreciate it. Thanks for helping me out. They're probably like, that jerk. They're like, look at this guy filming us. They thought I was ice. Norway, how you doing there? Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up there if you like this content. Thanks for hitting the thumbs up and tuning in here. Just walking home from work. That's all we're doing. But hey, it might snow tomorrow. It'll be kind of windy. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I want to send the robot to work. I want to just ride on the robot, like program it to go to work and just ride on it and film from the robot. When I get old and senile, which is happening pretty soon, I'll be on my hover chair just live streaming all day, cruising around like a robot. I'm a human robot here. But here's St. Michael's. St. Michael's, this beautiful church here. And look at that. St. Michael's Church here, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, St. Joseph's was the older church, but it doesn't look older. This was destroyed largely by the Great Chicago Fire in 1871. They rebuilt it. Jennifer Easton talks about how they buried some of the relics to survive the fire that are still used in that church. Yeah, Norway. I got ancestors from Norway. I got proud Scandinavian ancestors. They visited me here in Chicago. Some of my long lost cousins there. I appreciate that. Yeah, Jan Erik and Haken and all those great people. Here's we went to Navy Pier. It was fun. But yeah, I'm sure Putin's loving this. You know, like seriously, if the United States attacks Greenland according to the NATO charter, Europe will have to come to Denmark's defense against the United States. So Putin would have his wet fever dream of Europe fighting against America over Greenland, which is the stupidest, most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. And if you still support the president and his stupid idea, we're never going to be friends, because this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I don't care if I lose my friendship with you over Greenland. This is dumb. It's not necessary. Even if it has natural resources, we can still get those resources on the market without invading an ally. Denmark's an ally, and not only there's the indigenous Thule people, Thule people, the Inuit that live there, and I guess Trump thinks everybody has a price, and maybe they do. They might be willing to take money, but it's still stupid. And I'm sticking with it. You can defend Greenland all you want. Yeah, NATO crash. So if you just joined, we're in Chicago. This is Lincoln Park. We just crossed into Lincoln Park. We just walked through behind the former Cabrini Green area. We walked through the backside of Old Town. We went up Clybourne. That's where we saw that robot. If you would have, actually I take that back. If you would have went where we crossed, if we were on Clybourne, if you still would have went up Clybourne, like we crossed Division, that's where Cabrini Green used to be. So we walked through the former Cabrini Green on our way home from the Loop. We walked up River North there and went through Old Town. Now we're in Lincoln Park. So hey, thanks. Yeah, I'm walking home from work. This is my commute home from work. There's a reason I'm here. There's a reason I'm always in Lincoln Park. It's where I live. I work downtown, and most of my commute is just me walking to and from work and back home. But we do have a lot of videos on the south and west side. Please check them out there on TikTok and YouTube. I got my Substack going. I've been posting some stuff to Substack. Please check it out. I might write more stuff. I might post stuff to Substack and Substack that I don't post to TikTok. And there's several reasons for that as we head through a season of protest here. And hey, Cleveland Street. We're north of we just crossed Menominee and we're heading north. They still got Christmas lights out here. Hey, so let's enjoy the Christmas lights here, Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Yeah, how you doing? Got here late, Tennessee. How you doing there, Gene? Yeah, I remember you. How you doing? Yeah, neighborhoods change over time. You're right. Like, especially this part of Lincoln Park and the area towards Clybourne and Sheffield. You read Chuck De Los Santos's book, Once Upon a Time in the Neighborhood. He grew up in Chicago as a kid in the 80s, 1980s. And his book covers that and how much this neighborhood has changed. This was a Puerto Rican enclave. Even when I moved here in 1999, the Young Lords would guard the Guardian Angels, which is not a gang. They're associated with the guy that ran for mayor of New York, the guy that wore the beret. But in Chicago, they might have started in Chicago, like with the Young Lords, which came out of this area as well. And before it moved to Humboldt Park, there was a Puerto Rican enclave. It actually even goes further back where the Carl Sandburg village is. There used to be on Clark Street. That was kind of a totally different before they built that. They tore down a bunch of buildings, kind of dislodged a small Puerto Rican community that grew larger and came over to Lincoln Park and went to Humboldt Park. That's why those flags over Division Street are so important. They want to set roots. They say, this is the last stand. We're not moving anymore. You keep pushing us around different areas. Because Lincoln Park became gentrified and expensive. They tore down a lot of housing, built these big mansions. The city, first they did historic districts, which increased the real estate value, and then more rich people moved in, and then it spiraled, and the city loved it because it increased the tax base. But then regular Chicagoans couldn't afford it, the people that grew up and lived here. And people like me from Indiana thought we were hot stuff. We moved to Lincoln Park in the 1990s, and I live in Lincoln Park, and the rest of Chicago was like, you ruined our city, we're moving out. But I stayed. So here, Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. Starbucks, yeah. Yeah, smash the button there. Umpire for Major League Baseball at Wrigley Field. Hey, that's great. I like that when people show their family's connection to the city. See? Wrigley Field goes back. That's great. Yeah. Puerto Rican riots. Yeah, that was part of this. It was the seminary where DePaul University is now. That was called the seminary, and that building's still there. There's a plaque. I filmed it. I got a rerun on it. If you want it, I can send him. Message me. I can see the rerun. Yeah, that was what was his name? He ran the Young Lords there. That was in the late 1960s. It's the same time that Fred Hampton was murdered by Chicago police for the Black Panthers. The Young Lords took over the seminary. A local clergyman or a priest was killed. It was so tragic at one of these churches, and it was just related to that. A church pastor was killed, and his family lived here. It was so tragic back then. But yeah, it wasn't because of I don't think it was directly related. It was like, I don't know. I got to research it. I don't know all the circumstances, but yeah, it was part of the. It was so. They could get federal funds for their community, and they took hostage the campus to make their demands. And the government did work with them. They gave them some funds for community outreach, so they did get something for it. Young Lords there. So, but there was also the FBI didn't like it, and that's what they were. That's why what happened. You watch Judas and the Black Messiah. It goes through that period in Chicago about Fred Hampton. We went to Fred Hampton's house. I got a rerun of Fred Hampton's house. That's on the west side. That's west of the United Center going towards East Garfield Park. But we're not. We're in Lincoln Park here, so we're in a completely different socioeconomic part of the city here. Yeah, northern state. I saw a funny map today where it showed like California, Oregon, and Washington with Chicago or Illinois and Wisconsin and Minnesota, and the whole northwest, or excuse me, the northeast states, New England, going with Canada. And then we get the three largest cities, LA and Chicago and New York, would all switch to Canada, which would destroy the economy of the United States, because those three cities alone count for like you know, I don't know if it's the majority, but a significant portion of the entire economy of the United States. And if you couple San Francisco and Seattle with it, and Detroit and Minneapolis and Boston and Philadelphia, it really takes a lot of the GDP. And so I know the rest of the country, you hate liberal cities, you hate sanctuary cities, but you need our economy. And America wouldn't be as great without its liberal cities as far as GDP. So I'm just talking facts here. You can get angry about it. I know you don't like our politics, you don't like our mayors, but you don't live here. So we don't like your mayors either. We don't like your representatives, because that's why we don't live where you live, and we live in this weird city because we like the weirdness. We like high taxes. Not that I like high taxes, I'm just willing to pay them because I'm a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite, you're a hypocrite too. It's like the old Dr. Pepper song. I'm a pepper, you're a pepper, I'm a pepper too. Here, 2023, North Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. How's everybody doing? You got friends from Russia there in Boston? There you go. Blue states, yeah. Minnesota was in the Confederacy, yeah. We're all confused. I mean, I can't, you know, we went 10 years ago, we went kayaking in Wisconsin. This was probably right between Obama and Trump, when Trump was being elected the first time, 2016, maybe around then. And we weren't, not only were we in Wisconsin, we were like in northern Wisconsin or central Wisconsin. We were north of the Wisconsin Dells, and there was somebody in Wisconsin flying the Confederate flag. And I was just beside myself, because I have ancestors that fought in the Revolutionary War. Thankfully, I have more ancestors that fought for the Union than the Confederacy, but I do have a few that fought for the Confederacy, because if you're honest about it, America was divided. And some of my most interesting ancestors that fought for the Confederacy were the mixed-blood Cherokees who owned slaves that lived in Oklahoma that fought for the Confederacy under Stand Watie. A lot of people don't know that. You didn't read that in your history books, that some of the mixed-blood, more assimilated, slave-owning, card-carrying Native Americans in Oklahoma fought for the Confederacy. It was very... And the Native Americans were divided. They were called Penn Indians, the ones that fought for the North. And so I think my ancestor had to switch sides because he realized it was stupid, you know, what they were doing. But, you know, and Ken Burns covers that. Here we're at the sixth, we were here yesterday, the six-way intersection of Lincoln, Dickens, and Cleveland Street here, Lincoln Park, Chicago. There's no cars coming across here. Yeah, Ken Burns covers that, like the Iroquois, the Oneida, and the Seneca, or not the Seneca, the Mohawk. They had a falling out because the Iroquois tribe was divided whether to fight for the British or the Americans, and some fought for the Americans and some fought for the Iroquois. And there was a battle that he talks about where there were Iroquois, some from the Seneca, some from the Onondaga, the Oneida tribe, that our nation, that was they were on opposing sides, and they're like, why are we fighting each other? Why are the Indians fighting each other to help the white man? We lose either way. If the British win, we lose, and if the Americans win, we lose. Some of them rather fight with the British, like Tecumseh, which was Shawnee. That was later in the War of 1812, but because, you know, the British wanted revenge on the Americans by then, and so did the Shawnee. But but yeah, I was so depressed to see somebody in Wisconsin flying the Confederate flag, and I'm just like, what's the message here? Why do you live in Wisconsin, a state that fought for the Union, and what's your message? You know, besides, if that's not about a larger racism thing, what is it about? Free speech? You know, flying the American flag upside down. Some people doing that now. We saw it in Texas. We saw people flying the American flag upside down that were against Biden. They were flying the American flag, and there are now people flying the American flag. We saw it Sunday at the Renee Good vigil protest there. Liberals were flying the American flag upside down. We now know that the guy that burnt the flag at Minnesota, he was probably a CIA or a Boogaloo boy. It wasn't a real leftist Antifa agitator. It was somebody trying to make the people protesting look bad by burning the flag and then running out of there and not staying and wearing a mask. We know he wasn't part of it because they wouldn't have been wearing a mask. Isn't that amazing? Now liberals would rather not wear the mask so they don't get associated with ICE. Oh, how the tables have turned. Hey, we got Christmas decorations here, Cleveland Street, Chicago, Illinois. How's everybody doing here? I'm missing comments here. Sorry. Let me cross the street here. Yeah, the rebel flag's the loser flag. I know. I never seen people celebrate generals that lost the war so much as the lost cause there. Yeah. Yeah, he was a poser. Yeah, he was posing as a protester to make people look bad. I agree. That's what we were talking about. Yeah, smart there. Thanks for the good comment. But hey, we got some Christmas decoration here, Cleveland. Thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, I consider the Confederate flag treasonous. That's why, you know, it's a defeated flag. Why do I bring up the Six Flags over Texas, which is Six Flags? Chicago has the Six Flags, and I'm fine with this. This is laughable that an amusement park that started in Texas. It started out as Six Flags over Texas, and it was the historical flags under the colonial powers that used to fly over Texas. And I always ask people, I say, can you name all 6 of the Six Flags that flew over Texas? And so most people get 5 of them. It's the 6th one that usually stumps them, and of course it's the Confederate flag was the 6th one. You know, it's first the Spanish colonial powers, and then the French claimed Texas but never controlled it, which is laughable that France didn't have anything to do with Texas hardly. Then of course the Mexican flag, because when the Texans took it from Mexico had already broken away from Spain. So the 3rd flag is Mexico, the 4th flag is the Texas Republic, the 5th is the United States of America, and then after they became part of the United States, they succeeded and were part of the Confederacy before they were readmitted to the Union during Reconstruction. So, and I always argue there should be a 7th, which is Comancheria, which is the Comanche Nation, which controlled large portions of Texas for centuries. And other tribes were there too. You can watch that movie with Tom Hanks, News of the World, and the German settlers in the hill country. The kids got kidnapped and ended up with the tribes, and that often happened. A lot of times, like William Wells, who was a young kid, was captured by the Miami, contemporary of Abraham Lincoln's father. A lot of them would rather live with the Indians after living with the United States and then living with the indigenous people. They felt more loyal to the indigenous people than the United States. Isn't that amazing? Even though they knew they were white people. Oh my God. Here's Grant. Here's Grant and Cleveland Street, Lincoln Park, Chicago. What is whiteness? What is this idea of whiteness? It's not just color of skin. It means you assimilate to the cultural values of the dominant culture, which is the white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, historically Christian nation, like the Pilgrims, which are a bunch of prudes. And yes, I said that because thankfully some of the founding fathers like Benjamin Franklin were deists, even Thomas Jefferson. They believed in God, they believed in a higher power, but they didn't believe in all the... They were deists. They believed that God was kind of like on vacation, and it was up to humans to enlighten the world. And isn't that, you know, they wanted a separation of church and state because they saw how the King of England used the Church of England to dominate the government. They didn't want it to happen here, just like Iran or any, dare I say, Israel. Sorry, I didn't say that. You didn't. That was a typo. Here's here, welcome to Chicago, welcome to the corner of Belden. And I went to the 3rd day of Hanukkah. You know, it was a great celebration. They gave me some food. It was great. We lit the menorah there, sang some songs. I posted it. It was great. You got to cover all faiths and creeds, and we covered the pro-Palestinian protests a lot in 2024 when the DNC was going on. We covered those. We marched in them. I got reruns of that as well. So I've covered all sides of this issue. we've shown some demonstrations, and here we'll round this up. Thanks mods and everybody for staying on so long. We might cut out some of that footage of the Coco, especially with the motorcyclist in January. He waved to us as he went by. I kind of missed it. I wish I would have caught that. It always catches me off guard. But here's the Cleveland Street, the last of the Christmas decorations. Have a good night. I'll probably work from home tomorrow. It's going to be crazy wind, so we'll try to get a live stream in the morning, and if not, I'll send a message. I don't know, it probably won't be sunny, and I'll get some live streaming in tomorrow, especially if there's some crazy weather, just to show you what the weather looks like. And but we might not live stream much tomorrow depending on the weather, so I'll keep everybody posted. But hey, have a good night here from Chicago. Appreciate the mods and everybody else. If I missed anything, send me a message there. Have a good night there, Packers. Hey, thanks for being a Packers fan, and thanks for rooting for the Bears. Yeah, because somebody's got to represent the NFC North. That was such a close game. The Packers could have won it. You know, it came down to the Hail Mary at the end, but the Bears, fourth quarter, rather be lucky than good, I guess. But they looked pretty good there in the fourth quarter. It's so amazing that the Bears can consistently play dismally through the first three periods and then somehow pull it together when they're motivated. They need that motivation of the clock running out, I guess. I don't know. But hey, that bodes well for the 2-minute drill. So we'll see how it goes. The Bears face the LA Rams on Sunday, 5:30 p.m. We'll be talking more about that. But we'll see what the weather's like tomorrow. Have a good night. Well, we'll send you messages. Thanks for subscribing and following the gifts, likes, and follows. Thanks to my mod team. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night there. Yeah, good luck. Good night and good luck. Here's the twin sisters. They survived the Great Chicago Fire. So there you go. Keep on trucking. Have a good night there. Thanks everybody for saying goodbye. Thanks Grandma's Corner. Thanks One Gold Nubian. And everybody else. Anita, I don't know if you're tuning in. And I need to send you a message anyway here. So, hey, have a good night. Yeah, we'll see you later there. Sabrina Suburban Garden. Okay, we'll see y'all later. Have a good night. Okay, bye. Thanks a lot. 191 people. You guys are great. All right, talk to you later.